Welcome back, guys. Automotive Inc. here. So you guys know that I'm looking to progress the channel. Kong has proven everything it needs to do. At this point, though, I'm not in a position to add 2 trucks to the channel. So unfortunately, if Kong goes, we're going to fill the shoes with one. And it's not because it's done anything wrong. It's just that it's done literally everything. It hasn't died. It's worked its ass off. And it's fantastic. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best gasser. However, there's really nothing new in 23 from Ram, except for the mirrors, which are sweet. However, we haven't added a Hemi ever to the channel because I'm scared to. Cummins has always proven itself. So what about the HO or the L5P Gen 2? Well, I'm having a problem finding an L5P Gen 2 Chevy. The truck has some swagger, like Kong has some swagger. Like, it looks like you take a roundhouse to the face while driving it. And I know some people think that the truck's ugly, but honestly, I think the truck is just mean looking, just badass. So today I'm down here taking a look at the HO Power Stroke. This dealer has 2 or 3 on the lot that people have flaked on. And although it's black, it is metallic black, but it's an XLT premium. It's not on the recall, it's not on the stop sale. So we are going to take it for a spin. May or may not be able to do a lot of filming while we're driving, depending on the comfort level of that. However, I did find another Godzilla that we may go take a look at in a 23 that's also not on a stop sale, and it has the Baja interior that I like. So there is some nuances there that we can go over depending on that. Now, it's hard to find a Ram that's built with proper payload and proper towing with the gasser and the diesel. So they're kind of light in the 3/4 tons when it comes to the payload. You can get close. If you get the 410, you can get up there in the 17-ish range, but depending on the packaging, then it takes away from the payload and the towing. So today, the 2023 HO F-250. Take a look. All right, so it's in that metallic black HO, so 500 horsepower, 1,200 pounds of torque. Who needs that kind of power in an F-250? An F-350, an F-350 dually, F-450, this kind of makes sense to me. In an F-250, it's pretty much overkill unless it has the payload upgrade package, which I believe this one does, electronic rear. Now you have to be careful because some of these people are ordering, when they're ordering these special order trucks, they're omitting a locker, and that will change your payload and your towing according to Ford. So guys, it's like a $250 thing, and I'm telling you, you get stuck a couple times. Just having that extra ability is nice. So spare the $250 if you order one and get a locker, no matter what truck manufacturer you're buying from. So I'll give you the towing specs on this one. It's around $22,000. We'll have to look at the payload sticker on the door. It does have the 20 blacks. Let's go look at that. So again, somebody flaked on this one. So this one does have the locker. It does have the upgrade package. You can see the extra leaf in there. Got our standard bump stops, so we'd put Timbrin still on that. I do like Bridgestone tires. We're good there. And if I remember right, this does have the camper package on it, but I don't think it has the onboard scales. So the issue here will be, you know, what the payload is. If we get this one, we're gonna have to go into there. Now again, for me, I'm looking at what makes the most sense. Meaning, again, an F-250, for me, it makes sense, it works, but to put this overkill of an engine in here, now keeping in mind, guys, I would love to get one of these actually on a real dyno. I'm not sure if it'd be a hub dyno or a standard one that would give us the best actual results, because I know some people have tried it, had issues with it. But just because you have 500 in the on the window sticker or in the Ford manual and 1,200 pounds torque, that doesn't mean that's actually what you're going to get at the rear wheels. That's never going to happen across the board. Anything you drive, that's what the engine's potentially rated at. It can produce that, but by the time it gets to the tires, you have your residual loss, everything like that. It's going to change that. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. But we're gonna see if we can get all the specs on this and take it for a test drive. All right, so got all the way down here, and they brought the wrong key. So they have 2 or 3 of these trucks. If I had to pick one of the black wheel combos, this one's the best. I don't know if you guys have seen this on them, but this is what my General had on it. A nice cap on the back that was flush. A lot of these have this big square thing that sticks out here. It's hideous. This is good. This is good. But again, It's a good looking pickup. I mean, I'm just not a big fan of black, but let's see how this thing's optioned out. I finally can see the sticker, but the truck sits so high. So probably can't see it, but the biggest things we're looking at, the 331 locker, that's gonna bump your payload and towing up according to Ford's stats. We've got the 11.1, and then we have the snowplow prep package, that helps. We have the high capacity trailer tow package, that helps, and then the payload package upgrade. That's what we're talking about. MSRP $79,575, and we'll get to the door sticker here in a minute. This is the other one that they have right here, guys. Still, for the most part, it's almost an identical truck. Standard output 6.7. The biggest problem is, oh no, this one has the 331 electronic locking. Huh. I guess though, for $2,000 more, you can just step up to the HO. I guess this one does have that. Otherwise, similar package. But if I remember right, even with the 331, unless you get the upgraded suspension, so there we go, your towing is going to be knocked down to 15.8. So I guess we could have taken this one for a drive, but let's drive an HO while we're here. Again, guys, I'll tell you this much: if you're going to buy any truck across the market, then do yourself a favor and get that locker. You're just always going to like it. Now, I know you guys are going to say, well, Jeremy, the Godzilla failed last time. Okay, I'm not against that. My channel is about progression and seeing the improvements that they made. I'm hoping by the time that we get another Godzilla on the channel, which it may be sooner than later, that one, it's more than enough engine. It's a blast to drive, and I do like the truck, although, you know, you're going to be losing out on, you know, the fact that Kong can't be part of the channel just the way it is. I tried to keep 2 trucks on the channel. I don't make hardly enough money on the YouTube to even make half of a car payment, let alone a truck payment in this era. However, I don't really care in regards to that. It's also, I can't just keep the same truck on the channel that's already proven everything it has to prove. We were able to crush 11,000, I think it's almost 12,000 miles in less than 4.5 months of hardcore towing. That's more than any other channel's doing out there with one specific truck. We ran it hard, and there's plenty of other dudes out there that have, you know, they're up in the 60s and had no issues, so they have had good luck with their 6.6 LAT. Again, if it was just me and I wasn't progressing the channel, we would be keeping that truck probably until the wheels rolled off, because I love the truck itself, although I do wish it had a little bit more swag in it once in a while. But we are going to see how this HO does and see if it makes it on the channel, or if a Ram makes it on the channel, or if I can find an L5P. Chevy, stop putting 17, 18-inch ugly wheels on your truck. Make it look like some pizzazz. I love the upgraded LTZ wheels, I love the high country wheels, and I love the custom wheels, but man, those 17, 18-inch just polished, painted aluminum wheels don't do a whole lot for me. So we're gonna take this first spin. Welcome back, guys. So did the test drive. Didn't do a whole lot of recording on that test drive because the salesperson was riding with me. I just don't like having to get permission to, you know, have them on there or whatever. So took it for a spin. Without seeing it on a dyno, I can't honestly tell you I tell any difference between the standard output, power stroke, and the HO. Other than there's probably some type of like power retarder on there or power control type thing that, you know, dictates whether you're going to have all that torque at the wheels all the time. Didn't notice any skip shifting or anything crazy like that. So very linear, pretty quiet. Man, with all that payload upgrade package, it rode like a ton of bricks though. Wow. You know, when you sit back and you think about how we've talked about Kong rides and the Rams ride, man, that Ford rode rough. It rode so rough, it was rough. Anyway, it was a nice pickup though. Although I will tell you this much, all of the LCD gauges that are in the diesels, the numbers are down lower than in the gassers. Don't know what that is about. It makes no sense because I've driven XLT gassers, XLT diesels, flipping around lariats and stuff, and the gauges seem to sit higher inside the bezel. It's odd. But it would have had tons of power, way overkill. It definitely had good towing specs for being an F-250. Although, guys, I will just say is I don't understand what that engine's doing in an F-250. The F-250 has its limitations. And although it's good, really good for a 3/4 ton, if you get all the payload and upgrade packages, But heaven forbid if somebody's able to not get some of those aspects that actually takes that up there, it doesn't really tow much more than Kong if you don't get all the payload stuff. This one had it in it, and you could tell by riding it. It was not a fun truck to ride in. And so yeah, that truck ain't gonna make it on the channel. I have no interest in putting an HO on there. I already know it's got insane speed. Now if we were hooking up like loaders and giant goosenecks and trying to see who could tow the most, well, the numbers right now say the Ford's gonna do it. Ford's gonna tow more than anybody in different configurations. I looked at a crew cab XLT dually a while back, high output, all the upgrade packages, and it was in the 30s. Good Lord. At that point, I'm wondering why you're not buying like a small semi or something like that if you're in the private sector. If you're in a business, I again would wonder why you're not into a medium duty truck at that point. But definitely outstanding. Rode very good. Fuel economy, reset it, ran it over 8 miles. Again, it's not a ton of data, so it's not fair to try and base fuel economy on it. However, I will say that it stayed right around the 10.5, which again, that's almost what we get in all the Power Strokes. In general, we usually get about 12 in town, 11, 12. And I'm not even going to talk about the V10 because that's a different animal, because that doesn't compete with today's gassers. But yeah, it's definitely right there where the Duramaxes were that we had this summer, and whether they're a work truck or they were the rentals that we used, that's about what we saw. So there was no surprise there, especially because it's so powerful. But all in all, yeah, it had like a 3,500 pound payload, and so it was a very good and unique pickup. I think that's a cool pickup for, if I was probably in my mid-20s, that's what I would probably order. I'd go in just wanting the HO because I didn't have one. It would be neat to experience that, although if you're not using it, having all that extra, I mean, the engine compartment looks completely different inside of there. If it was already tight with a normal Power Stroke, you're not fitting a whisper through there, actually. I mean, it's so tight. So the HO here is available at AutoNation Ford Littleton in Denver, Colorado. There is plenty of people there that you can go ask to take a look at it. They had 2 other ones. They had a Lariat F-250 standard output Power Stroke there that somebody ordered with a 331 non-locker, so your towing is actually less than the Godzilla. That is actually where I found the first Godzilla with the bench seat, the white one that you've seen a couple videos on, and that's the one that's on the stop sale. So yes, we cannot buy that truck. That truck is literally still sitting there, and so that won't work. But so nonetheless, that is out of the equation. That is available for the next person that wants it. If that was in an F-350, I think that's a better option for most people, but that will be a pass for me on that. And I drive Power Strokes all the time. They do just fine, but they still need some work when it comes to exhaust brake compared to Cummins and several other areas, but then they just regen all the time. So yeah, it was a neat experience, a cool truck. I think that's definitely going to fit some hot shotters and some ranchers and farmers and construction people and people that need heavy ability. And F-350, that is a good option. But for $2,000 more, I'm not sure what you're getting that you need, because the old 12 hours still on the road doing a ton of work that they probably shouldn't be doing, but they are doing. So at the end of the day, guys, I appreciate you being here. Down there in the corner is the subscribe button. Smash that because you want to find out what we're adding to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one, because I got a Godzilla one coming up.